It is June 9th, 2020. We're here at 4230 Piper Street in San Diego, California, 92117. We're here on the rooftop of the house. We have back-to-back bathrooms here. We're going to go down the original 3-inch cast iron sewer vent to inspect the main sewer line for the house. There's a little T-junction right there, so it picks up the other sink, and then another T-junction for the shower. Okay, so as you can see right here, our vent pipe is completely blocked up. So we have a bunch of cast iron flaking that's occurred on the system. Now this can happen for a couple reasons. One, just the age of the sheer cast iron itself, and being closer to the coast, the saltier air you get closer to the ocean, it will corrode the inside of the cast iron pipe out a little bit faster on a vent pipe like this, and it'll flake apart and literally just start crumbling and falling down in the line. And it's actually blocking the entire pipe right there, as you can see. The other thing would have been is if for some reason the sewer main had to be snaked a bunch of times in the past or even recently, and a lot of that agitation from the hydrojetting or a drain cable, whatever would have been possibly used if they had to do that, would then knock against the walls of the pipe and cause those flakes of the steel pipe, the cast iron, to do the same thing and fall off and into the line. And so right now it's, again, as you can see, blocking every part of this little pipe right here. So we're going to go ahead and flush some toilets and see what kind of echo we can still hear. Now, I'm sure we'll hear a little bit. The only other vent pipe we have on the rooftop here is for the kitchen. So we will try to put a small camera down through the kitchen line, but it being original 2-inch cast iron as well, may not be able to get far out on the system, if at all, but we'll give that an attempt because this line right here is going to need to be cleaned up. One of the methods is to literally cut into the pipe in the wall by pulling the toilet and going down in and literally vacuuming and extracting it out. The other method is we have a large magnetic retrieval tool. It's a slow process, but we can go ahead and push that down and keep grabbing all these metal flakes until the line is opened up. The last thing is to then just literally snake or hydrojet the line to remove these and push them. Now, of course, they're going to be pushed into the system, and that could lead to issues with stoppages because you've now got a big mound of metal flakes and shavings inside the pipe that are going to bind and clog things up. So that's also then a slow process for a hydrojetter to try to keep pushing all that out to the city itself and get that flushed out of the system. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and see if there's any sewer cleanouts on the front yard of the property other than the property line one the city put in, and then we'll attempt to go from the kitchen as well. Okay, so again, we're just showing these flakes here blocking the whole vent line. So everything's flushing when we run the toilets and everything. So everything is obviously draining on the system, but these need to be removed, whether it's via hydrojetting, again, magnetic retrieval, or opening up the wall and literally vacuuming out the debris. So we're going to go ahead now and just pull this back up and out. So let's see one more time coming up this vertical run here, this vent. We're now going to go ahead and move over to the kitchen line, the vent that's here, to see if we can maybe get through that part of the system and even into the main sewer. Okay, so we moved over to the rooftop here where the kitchen vent is. We have a very small camera for this one because it's a, again, smaller 1.5-inch vent pipe leading down into a 2-inch cast iron drain. Now this may have some twists and turns if it has to go around the window. Yes, in fact, it looks like it does. So there's going to be some 45s here where this vent pipe runs over because the drain, of course, is under the sink, under the middle of the window, and the vent starts off the side. And so essentially, this pipe right here, we're not going to be able to maneuver through this and get over to the kitchen from this point. So we're not going to be able to access the main sewer via the kitchen, and there's no clean out on the exterior wall. So now we're going to move over to the laundry. Now the laundries, we're going to note here, does not have a roof vent. That's already been notated to the buyer's agent. So the vent pipe needs to be extended up to the rooftop, and we're going to move down to the laundry room and show that. Okay, so we moved into the laundry room. So again, as we were pointing out, here's our utility sink, which has a proper trap. That trap arm would lead over to a T, as you can see here, and then that would be the vent pipe exposed outside the wall, which is fine, but it needs to extend all the way to the rooftop. So the top of this pipe cannot be used as a stand pipe for the laundry because it does not lead into a trap. And then same thing, if it did, after the trap, it would need to lead to a vent. So it goes straight into the ground, so we're going to go through this vertical pipe, and this should lead into a 90-degree turn, and then lead into, or ties into the main sewer. Okay, now you can see a T-junction right there, and we suspect that that is probably where this little concrete basin that's right next to here junctions in, and we'll check that with a camera just to see. So we're going to continue down this line right here and see where this goes to. This needs to connect into the sewer main. Okay, it looks like it's just dumping into the concrete box outside. So this is not to code. This is not a legitimate gray water system. For a gray water system to be used in the state of California, you have to have a 2-chamber system, just like a septic system is done underground. The first chamber collects all the soaps and oils and emollients. They get put down, and then the water gets charged to a second tank, which you can then pump or use on your property. But none of the water can be run off or maintained in a box like this with no separator and no way to discharge it. No runoff is allowed to run into the street, into the storm drain, and any standing water in the city of San Diego is not permitted as well in the case of this type of a box, because this can lead to mosquitoes and all the problems that come with mosquitoes and bugs that can capitulate from standing water. So this is the box outside. We're going to go ahead and leave this right here. We're going to pause the video and go grab our second camera we used on the kitchen and go show this. So we're going to pause for 1 second. Okay, so we're here again in the laundry room. Here you can see our first camera is in through this laundry going across. We have seen the T underground that picks up this other little concrete basin washlet here. This again is out of code. There's a trap in there, but when you have a drain, whether it's a floor drain or mop sink drain, and no plumbing fixtures off of it, you have to have what's called a trap primer, dumping water into that to keep that trap full of water, because otherwise when it dries out, you will get gases and odors coming up. So when we look in this really quick, you can see that this is completely dry. And that's because, again, there's no trap primer on there, or it's even just a 90-degree elbow going across. So we're now going to go ahead and just move quickly. We're going to pause the video. We're going to move to the outside here. Okay, so here on the side of the house we have the water heater room. The water heater, is noted by the home inspector, does not have a thermal expansion tank and a drain pan, so that's out of code. But really quick here, here's this catch basin that was installed here outside for rainwater runoff. This has this drain pipe right here, and this is going to run to the front, so we're going to show where this is connecting as well. So we're going to pause the video and move our camera. Okay, so now you can see we're here at the front of the house. Here's the window from the laundry room, and here's our other camera that just pushed into this concrete basin. So again, this is out of code for the drain system for the house. That bottom pipe there is for that water runoff. So again, it's not to code for a gray water system. It's also not to code for vector control. So in the city of San Diego, you cannot have areas that contain and hold water that can grow mosquitoes and other things as well. So obviously this drain pipe for the laundry where the camera is sticking out there, that's going to need to be extended, cut through this block, dug all the way across the front yard. And this main sewer is going to need to be located in the front yard, dug up, and a T-junction put in, and then a trench from the main sewer all the way back to here to connect into so that it drains to code. And that's the only way this can be done properly. So the main sewer needs to be jetted out from the rooftop, or that other debris removed with the other methods. And then the rest of the main sewer needs to be scoped to determine if there's no more roots or any issues with the rest of the main sewer, as well as the main sewer needs again to be located, the path and the depth across this front yard area, so that it can be T-junction added to tie this laundry line in. So that concludes the recording at this time for this property.